Hello, everyone. This is Cassandra Williamson with The Path Forward. Welcome to our Wednesday evening show, April the 2nd, 2025. We've got a few things to talk about today, and I just want to say first, thank you to everyone who is watching or who will watch later. If you're watching this after 6 p.m. Eastern Time, any other day, you're watching a recording. Today is live. So I do want to just say also thank you to everyone who has sent money in and stuff like that. I mean, that helps, hamburgers and drinks and cover the cost of expenses for operating all of this thing here. One of these days, I'll send you a picture of what this actually is all got going on here. So anyway, I want to start out this evening by saying that the stories coming out of Lake City, Florida are that Danny Davis, the lesbian lady, the 6'4" lesbian lady, biological woman who was harassed in a Walmart bathroom by a man who thought she was trans, and then she reported it, and then she ended up getting fired over it. Well, Walmart is apparently looking to reinstate her to her position. At least that's the word I'm getting so far. I've searched around on the internet, but I haven't found anything more substantial than just that. The word coming out, I'm going to say it that way. The word coming out of Lake City, Florida, Danny Davis is looking to be rehired, or Walmart is looking to rehire her. So that's one of the big things. But the other thing is we've had a lot of stuff going on, and I mentioned it in today's blog that I sent out, the mass email I sent out to everyone. If you didn't get it, you need to sign up for it. Right there at that email address, you can go there and let me know you want to sign up, or you can go onto the website. And right here. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So you can go onto the website right there, www.cassandra-llc.com, and sign up and register. We've had a lot of people signing up and registering for that, so that they can receive my email updates on a regular basis. So with that, let's talk about a few other things that's taken place today. So let me get rid of the screen on this side and just pull up a few things. I'm going to hit the headlines in the news really quickly. Some things that I think are pertinent and important to our safety and security around the world and here at home, because of all the bluster that's coming out of this administration trying to basically blackmail other people, other countries into doing what he wants. And, he's got that power. He has that power. He can turn on the tariffs. He can turn them off. It's all an effort to, bring them to the bargaining table and get them to lower their tariffs or bring their businesses to the United States. And he's been pretty effective at that so far. So I have to give him credit for that. I'm not a big fan of tariffs myself, but what he's doing seems to be working. Businesses are coming into the country, and I'm glad for that. We do need our citizens with full jobs and benefits with those jobs, okay? Fully. And having said that, I want to point out one other thing too. I've heard this from several people, and not just the few who have sent me an email about it, but others as well. And they want to know, do I hate Christians or something because I'm always going after people like Hegseth who are putting out there his Christian faith and things? No, I'm not. I'm going after them because what they're doing is wrong. I could care less about what religion it is. They could be Jewish, they could be Muslim, they could be anything else, nativist, they could be anything at all, and I would go after them for the same reason, because what they're doing is wrong. Whenever they come out with this massive chauvinism and that it's a Calvinistic type of belief system that believes that only man and only men should control the reins of power and of leadership and all of that, and that other people don't have any rights. Basically, it's just the land-owning men who have rights to vote even. Yeah, some of them actually believe that too. So that's the reason I'm going after it. I'm not going after any particular faith. I'm not going after anything because someone is a Christian or says that they are. I disagree with what they were doing, and they're using their faith as a means to justify their behavior, their actions, and their choices. No, I will go after you. I will come after you. Whenever you start taking your faith and pushing it on everybody else, you're trying to force your ideology on the rest of us. No, I'm not. I'm not a Calvinist. Nope. And I'm also not chauvinistic. So that's what I'm doing. I just want to clear that up because I have heard it from others, not just the one person sent me an email yesterday. My cousin concerned about it, thinking I was attacking just Christians, and that's who I was always after. Well, they're the ones who are coming after us right now. But if it was somebody else with a different religion, and by the way, I know that in the Muslim world, we stand no chance whatsoever. And neither do the women in this country, anyone for that matter. So yeah, I will go after them. And that puts a bullseye on me from many, many people from various perspectives and various ideological beliefs. But don't force yourself on me thinking that, I should follow your way or their way because, they're in position of power. No, I'm going to be actually the one down here going, look, you're wrong. So I just wanted to clear that little message up too. And then the other thing I want to talk about, let's just talk about this big day of, what was the day? I mean, it was a whimper. Liberation Day? Liberation Day? What do you mean? Liberation Day. Trump got up on that stage and he bloviates, that is a word, he bloviates about everything, exaggerates about his own life story, and he tells things that are blatantly wrong, that if anybody's paid any attention to him, that he is just, I think he probably believes it because he's talked himself into it. And, good for him. He knows how to use narrative exposure therapy. That's from psychology, folks. I know how to use narrative exposure therapy. I know what that's all about. You take control of your story and you make it your own because, the human brain is just capable of doing any number of things. And the past happens to be more reflective of the present than actual real history. So Trump is taking his story and making it his own, even though half of it is, the rest of us know that that's not the way it happened. But pat him on the back and on the head or whatever. He's really trying, and he's got a lot of people who believe him. So that was the whimper of the day coming out of the White House. But he spent so much time talking about himself and all of his accomplishments and first term and the second term and the problems that he had coming with this one, and egg prices, which are still high, by the way, if you don't know, gas prices, which haven't moved very much at all here in Eastern Kentucky. I mean, I pay 10 cents more here in the Belfry of the Hardy, Kentucky area, which is near the West Virginia border. I pay more here than I do 30 miles away in the county seat in Pike County. Pikeville, Kentucky. It's 10 cents higher there, or lower here, or there. I mean, I'll get it right. It's 10 cents lower in Pikeville than it is over here along the Tug River. Well, prices are not 59% down, as he said in his little speech today. And the stock market, it'll likely rebound. This is probably a correction of some kind. But those who have been playing this game smartly knew that this were coming and probably would have done what I did last week. Bought up some of these shares I knew they were going to drop. The bottom fell out, and I'm going to buy up some more in the next couple of days. Why? This is a good time to buy good stocks. I'm not going to give you my stock advice either. Okay, just so you know. So what's been happening in the world today around here? First is Denmark and the Netherlands and different ones have been reacting to Trump's tariff threats and things like that. But not only that, but he also sent a letter to all of our embassies around the world and told them to let local businesses know if they deal with the United States government in any way, they need to follow the U.S. rules on DEI. I can imagine that went over like, I don't know, a bucket of rocks. You're telling a foreign corporation in another country that they have to follow U.S. rules on your chauvinistic DEI diatribe. Right. I could see that working out real well, can't you? Nope. No. And in other news, a U.S. company has bought up interest in another U.S. company that owns a massive amount of rare earth minerals in Greenland. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the U.S. company based out of New York already owned a bunch of that stuff over there. And then another company came in and said they're going to actually try to produce it because there's billions of tons, apparently, of rare earth minerals there that they can access quickly. So, if you can't get them, just to fall along your way, you go out and just start buying up all of their resources. Yeah, well, actually, that's the way the system works. I don't have a problem with that either. I do know that we need to have more military posts there and along the Arctic Circle, because that's a massive place there that the Russians are definitely moving into, that China would love to have access to, you know, and that's just the way it is. And why, by the way, here's the question: is why has the Arctic Circle become such a hot button issue these days? Could it be because the ice is melting and staying and not freezing as much as it was before, that the trends are going in that direction? It opens up a lot, doesn't it? And there's a lot of oil reserves up in there and rare earth minerals, and everybody wants it. So yeah, that's why Trump is pushing for Canada to become the 51st state, and Greenland become another state or territory, and Panama Canal take over. And I'm sure he'd love to have the entire Central American states, which, believe it or not, years ago, I actually pushed that idea myself. I said that, hey, this is the best way. If you can't do it by a state, bringing them in as a state or whatever, you create another, American Union, like the European Union, only American Union, with a lot more power and resources than anybody else on the planet. Anyway, neither here nor there. So, and another story of interest. This one is coming out of Europe also. And this happens to be that Europe is planning to ditch U.S. weapons for their own. Well, that's what Trump wants to do for the U.S., right? He wants us to be the producers of our own industrial materials and supplies and weapons and ships and all of those kind of things. He wants it done here in the U.S. And Europe is thinking of doing the same thing there and shutting out buying of U.S. weapons, even though the U.S. produces the most weapons in the world. Imagine that. The land of the free, most weapons of the world right here. Yep. That's how we stay that way, though. I think that was in some propaganda class somewhere. Yeah, likely. Anyway, so Europe is looking at that, and that kind of spooks old Trumpy baby. He does. The orange one in the White House is, seriously concerned about Europe not buying American weapons. I don't know what he's going to do about it, but they have the same right that he does to self-preservation. This is not a street that you want to go down too easily, where you start telling everybody in the world that we're going to protect ourselves, bring all the businesses here, and if you have businesses that sell in the United States, your best bet is to bring them to the United States, or we're going to jack up the tariffs on them and the taxes on them and everything else. Yeah, that's going to backfire pretty fast. But that's all a big strategic plan of Trump's, and I don't know that that's the case, but who knows? Let's go on to another topic here. This one is fascinating to me. Now, this person did do something wrong. I will tell you that right up front. They did wear their uniform in an event that was not authorized by the U.S. Army Reserve. Captain in the U.S. Army. Definitely there is a basis for a charge on that. Absolutely. It's a violation of UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. If you don't know what that is for military people, this Army captain, reservist, Captain Winters, Christina Winters, well, she's also trans. She's been in combat. She's a combat decorated soldier. She has been wildly successful in all of those roles. She's public affairs right now. And yeah, the action is the Army Reserve is saying that they're going to take appropriate action against her. And obviously, they're going to make a big deal out of this. Don't know the outcome yet. We don't know of any charges that have been filed yet. But I can say that it is a violation to actually wear your uniform when you're doing activism, especially. And that puts a huge target on her because they're going to want to make an example out of her and say, get out. Now, she was wrong to wear the uniform. Yes. However, her statement and her claim from all of this was that Trump, here's what she claimed and what the Army Reserve is looking into as well, in which they're wrong on this one, is that she claimed that Trump and his administration and Secretary Hegseth are trying to erase trans people from the whole of American society. And the libs of TikTok jumped all over that, saying this captain is claiming that, you know, they use the wrong pronouns. Obviously, they always do. They said that this Army captain is claiming that Trump wants to erase trans people from society, kick them out of their homes, out of their jobs, out of their places of employment, out of their safe spots and their communities, and out of the military, take away their jobs, their livelihoods, and their health. That's what the captain basically said, me paraphrasing it slightly. And then Libs of TikTok made a big deal out of that, as if stating or showing that Trump wasn't going to do that. Yes, he is. He's going to do that. He's borrowing the playbook directly out of the introduction to the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. Go look on page 4, the bottom of page 4, and the top of page 5 in the introduction, written by Dr. Kevin Roberts, president of the Heritage Foundation. And you will find that in it, it plainly says they're going to erase, his words, across the whole of the United States, sexual orientation and gender identity, SOGI stuff. He's going to erase all of that from the public sphere and make it a crime. Hey, go and read it sometime. This playbook that is the playbook that this administration is following to a T. Deliberately following it. Okay. Now, I want to close out with one after well, this is the pre-close. Okay. Pre-close. So how many of you actually had a chance to look and read through the blog post I sent out earlier today? Anyone? 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 I'm looking. I'm seeing. I know some of you did. My posts have been receiving lots and lots and lots of views over the past 2 weeks. I mean, some days it's up to 300 views, almost 300 views. Others are showing up in there on different things. But this particular post today, there's only been 50 or so people look at it. Around 50, a little less than 50, I think. I don't know what it is right now. But any of you know what I mentioned in there about who is the asshole of the day? Anyone know who the asshole of the day is? Let me show this. Who is our asshole of the day? Show a scene. I'm going to add a media source here. Give me a second. I'm going to go in and pull up an image, and you tell me who it is, okay? Here is, I'm going to put in this one, and this one, and this one, and open. I don't know which one will pop up first. Asshole of the day, Rhonda DeSantis. Okay. From down in Florida. doing everything in his power to make sure all children of 14 and up can work on the farms, folks. Well, because, they're kicking out all the farm labor and all the people actually doing the hard work in the state. Yeah, so passing a law that says that children age 14 and up can work in the fields, picking the corn and the green beans and the cotton and whatever else is down there in Florida. Mangoes and I don't know what's there, but I know that he wants to have the children be able to do that. We went that direction one time before. You know when it was? Oh, let's go back to the 1880s and 90s, the early 1900s. Children were working in factories. They were there in environments that were not safe. Many lost their lives in the Chicago fire of the end of the 1800s. So, yeah, DeSantis happens to think that, this is a good family thing for the kids to come out and work. Yeah. This is actually Ron DeSantis. Yeah, he wears his high heels. This is Rhonda DeSantis. Rhonda DeSantis. Okay. Yeah, so Ron DeSantis in his high heels and high extra 3-inch boot so that he looks taller than he is. That one. Yeah, that one. And then there's this version of Ron DeSantis. Asshole of the Day award goes to Ron DeSantis today for everything he's doing to harm citizens in his state and to export his vitriol to other states. Yep, there you go. So let's close out with one other person. Let me see if I can pull up. And this one happens to be the Service Member of the Week. Okay, Service Member of the Week. If you read through the blog post today, you know who this is already. So let me pull it up here, and this one, open. It's loading. You'll get to see it here in a second, right there. Nicholas Talbot. This information actually comes from Colonel Bree Fram's website, transmilitaryvoices.com. You can go there and read up on a lot more. Bree's an amazing person, amazing leader. She's in the Space Force, a colonel. She was in the Space Force. I think she still is, but definitely on the way out under this administration because, that she's trans. That's the only reason, which is not a valid reason. But that's the only reason they want to try to get rid of people like Bree and Nick Talbot and others on active duty service in the military because, it's not because of their performance or their ability to do their job well, or not because they've been able to do the job well for a long time in their identities. It's only because they're trans. And that is discriminatory. That is stupid and asinine, Hegseth and Trump. I could care less what your faith is or your ideology is. That is an asinine thing to do. So what's the path forward? Let me go back to find me up here. Right there. I've been at this 23 minutes. Who's still here? Oh, my God. I usually come into things. I'll give you a little heads up. I usually come into these things, and it's a lot of extemporaneous stuff. I've got ideas in the background, but I fill in the stuff as I go along because I know, what I want to say, and I've known. That's why I brought the stories up. I could put them on different screens and things around here, and then I get to talk about them. And yeah, it turns out to be extemporaneous. Now, the path forward, be strong, don't be stupid. Go out here and do things that are legally acceptable, but at the same time, don't be afraid to be real with yourself and your communities as much as you can and do it safely. Now, as Captain Winters said in a video, she actually said, get out there and be proud about it and do it, and don't let them forget who you are. It's me paraphrasing the ending of her little video clip. So anyway, you all have a great evening. The family's doing well, by the way. No changes, my brother is trying to go rebuild a car and still can't breathe and has to stop every minute to catch his breath and get oxygen. And my sister and I actually went out today and went shopping, got her out of the house and got her into her wheelchair, got her out. And we went to the mall and went to Walmart and McDonald's and stuff that she wants to go to and things like that. So she's doing all right. Mom is doing her usual routine of getting up in the chair, getting her medicine shot, falling asleep, waking up and saying, "Oh, I can't believe it's that late already." All's good, though. All's good. Have a great day, everyone. See you at 7:30 tonight. If you're on the Zoom call that's going on tonight at 7:30 Eastern time, okay? Zoom